Is this going to be voiced over? Hello, I'm Elizabeth Bennett, and welcome to the first episode of Rochester and Elizabeth. Today we have two very special guests, and we will be discussing the values throughout time. Here with me today, as always, is Mr. Rochester, who lives in Longbourn.
Our first guest is a knight of great repute, who has served in many campaigns throughout the Mediterranean, and is currently traveling to Canterbury.
Welcome. And last of all, we have...
I am Beowulf.
Hello.
So, Sir Knight, that's some impressive armor you have over there. Is that made out of like duct tape or?
My father made it for me.
Oh, really? Don't really see how that's gonna protect you very
It's
much.
very hard to come by good armor nowadays. All the blacksmiths are out of business.
Alright.
Yes, well, welcome, all of you. It's a very interesting party. Now to our conversation. Would anyone like to begin?
My people have said that the wisest, most knowing, and best of them, that it was my duty to come on this talk show. They have seen my strength for themselves, have watched me rise from the darkness of war, dripping with my enemy's blood. I drove 5 great giants into chains, chased all of that great race from the earth. I swam in the blackness of night, hunting monsters, and killing.
Beowulf, if I may, we all have something to say. I am sure you are a very great man, and you have a lot to speak about, but all of us do as well. And if you would not mind, we have a lady in our presence. I believe she should talk first.
Thank you, Sir Knight. Now, Mr. Rochester, I believe you married your governess. Would you say she was an embodiment of the values you cherish?
Well, of course she was. But marrying her did not fit the values of the people around me. As a member of higher society, I was supposed to be married to someone of equal status, but I went against that. I married a woman who was intelligent, independent, and plain, the opposite of what was expected of a woman in my time. Jane is truly an unearthly being.
That was very noble of you, sir.
Yes, that's very similar to my husband, Mr. Darcy. I was of a lower class, but as we both valued love above fortune, we bested the naysayers and fell in love. His aunt was petrified. You see, when we first met, I thought he was an arrogant prick. However, once I got over my prejudice, I could see how goodly he was. You see, his whole life, he had felt the social pressure to act as proud upperclassmen. And I, being closest to my father, did not grow up to be a normal girl. I educated myself with my father's books. This made me see that the girls of my time were self-absorbed with finding a husband who could support them, and love wasn't part of the question.
My only love is for the glory of battle, feeling the blood of my enemies wash over me as I slaughter them. As I was saying before I was interrupted, I have killed many, and there is nothing I desire more than to do so again. See, in the words of another, I would like to tell you a story of some of my exploits. The Wrath of Grendel. A powerful monster, living down in the darkness, growled in pain, impatient, as day after day the music rang loud in the hall, the harps rejoicing. Call and poets' clear songs sung of the ancient beginnings of us all, recalling the Almighty making the earth, shaping these beautiful plains marked off by the oceans, then proudly settling the sun and moon to glow across the land and light. The corners of the earth were made lovely with trees and leaves, made quick with life with each of the nations who now move on its face. And then, as now warriors sang of their pleasure, so Hrothgar's men lived happy in his hall, till the monster stirred, that demon, that fiend, Grendel, who haunted their moors, the wild marshes, and made his home in hell. Not hell, but earth. He was spawned in that.
I adore how you two, Elizabeth and, what was your name, sir? Edward? Married your spouse for love. Love is very important to me as well. I have a son. I have been training him to be a knight. like his old man. He has been shadowing me in campaigns all around the Mediterranean Sea, fighting for God and my lord. And have you get out much? Any combat?
Well, I think war is quite horrible. A waste of human life and resources. All this time spent fighting each other for the smallest of reasons. Like keeping the colony under control, or as you said, to fight for a god. Some may see that as a noble cause, but as I said before, it's just a waste.
I would have to agree with Mr. Rochester, but I can't speak much of it, for I have no first-hand contact. You see, Mr. Wickham is a militant of our town, and he often speaks about it, but to me it's just a bunch of people killing each other over nothing in a faraway place. I don't like it, but I don't see a way to stop people fighting. If I could, I would stop war.
Personally, I fight to help people and to honor my God. I want to make a difference and have my life mean something, so I dedicated it to fighting evil and saving as many lives as I can. Some of you may know that after my battle with Grendel, I became king for a long time, and that allowed me to help even more until a dragon came to my kingdom and I was forced to defeat it or die trying.
Wait, so you defeated this monstrous dragon all by yourself? That must have been terrible.
What? Not exactly. See, I died and then one of my men finished it off.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I thought you guys knew about that. I died for...
Well, I think that was a very honorable thing to do, protecting your people that way.
I think you and I, Beowulf, are one and the same. We fight for just causes with honor. Protecting the weak is one of the most important virtues of the Knight's Code. To never refuse a duel from an equal, to fight for the welfare of all, and above all, for my Lord and God. I often pray to God every day, before and after battle. He gives me strength and protects me from evil. You mentioned the Almighty earlier. Are you a holy man?
Well, in my battle with Grendel and his mother, I protected many who had turned from God and, praying to their pagan lords for help. One of the most difficult decisions I ever had to make was during my fight with Grendel's mother, when my weapons had no effect on her. And in order to defeat her, I had to pick up a sword forged by the giants with pagan magic. But being an honorable man and staying with God, those are truly the most important things in life.
Women can be just as honorable as men, Beowulf.
Yes, and I think Jane proves that. She is truly independent and strong, just like any man. Jane spoke out against people that had much higher class and kept her personality after gaining money and reputation.
Well, women can be honorable, yes, but in a different way. They need to stay at home and care for the family and property while the men are out.
Women can do anything that a man can do.
Beowulf, it is not fair for you to be placing women in that aspect of social life. The way you are talking about women sounds like you are just discarding them. Women do more than you know, especially putting up with people like you. Look at the wife of Bath. She's independent and wealthy. She is as strong as any man.
Okay, look, all I'm saying is that women aren't...
And that's all the time we have. Please join us next week on Rochester and Elizabeth.
I'm sorry, this thing